Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is your box office breakdown.
If that's what you wanted, if that's what you wanted.
It seems this weekend, everyone was in the mood for a good cry, as The Fault in Our Stars easily placed #1 at this weekend's box office, taking down last weekend's Mistress of Evil, the latest in Tom Cruise's attempt at being an old action star, that band of mutants we've come to really love over the past 15 years, and Seth MacFarlane's latest take in the live-action comedy realm. So, $48 million was the take from The Fault in Our Stars to propel it to #1 this weekend. While that is way above even the most optimistic of predictions, there is room for concern with Shailene Woodley's latest film. The Fault in Our Stars took in over half of that $48 million on Thursday night release, as well as the Friday day box office. And that is a huge, huge, huge drop for The Fault in Our Stars to go from Thursday night to Sunday. In the past, young adaptations have typically shown to be front-loaded, such as the Twilight series, but they were also heavily criticized for their large front-loaded numbers. So, The Fault in Our Stars even blew out the front-loading that the Twilight films did. So not a great sign for Shailene Woodley's latest film as we look forward to its complete box office run. However, we're still optimistic that it will reach $100 million. It's just, will it have the legs to get there? Also, the audience for The Fault in Our Stars was made up primarily, almost exclusively if we're being honest, of young adult women. So, it has a very niche audience. They gave it a great cinema score with an A, but it was also front-loaded. So, this one will be very interesting to watch as The Fault in Our Stars plays out the rest of its run in theaters. In second place this weekend with a 52% drop is Maleficent, coming in with $33.5 million for weekend #2. That's actually a pretty light drop at 52% for Maleficent as it goes for blockbusters. So, overall, not too much to say for Maleficent. It's performing well, it's holding well, and it's gonna see a nice return and may even reach $200 million at the domestic box office, which is something that The Amazing Spider-Man and Godzilla, two seemingly more surefire bets to get there, are having big struggles to do. So we'll see if Maleficent is able to achieve that goal. In third place this weekend, opening at $29.1 million, is The Edge of Tomorrow. Fortunately, this does fall right in the realm of predictions that most people had made for the film. Unfortunately, people were predicting a big disappointment for this, and they were right. The Edge of Tomorrow really, really was hurt by a terrible, terrible ad and marketing campaign, and you can hear more about that in my review. So click down below, the LC Screen Talk link will take you to my videos. You can watch that one, as well as my The Fault in Our Stars review. But it really was hurt by a bad campaign that wasn't able to illustrate the real joy you get from watching this film and its originality. Like I said in my review, there are a lot of borrowed elements from other films, including, obviously, Groundhog's Day, but it really applies it into a unique way that we haven't seen in a while. So it's unfortunate that this is turning out to be a flop, and you might be like, 29.1 is a pretty okay opening. Not when you're working on a $175 million budget. So, not a great opening. However, it did pull in $82 million overseas, so it looks that it's going to be a much stronger performer worldwide than it is here in the US, which seems to be the saving grace for original sci-fis these days. When will the US catch on that the original is still good? In fourth place this week, we do have a sequel in XMen Days of Future Past. It dropped another 55%, which is not terrible, but again, not great. It's going to need to shrink that dropping percentage quickly if it wants to really get to that $220 million mark. However, it did pull in $14.7 million for the weekend and nears the $200 million mark domestically. Oh, worldwide, it is up to $610 million, which is a huge sum, and looks on track to reach that $700 million worldwide mark. As we stated before, it is already, by far, the highest-grossing X-Men film around the globe. In 5th place this week is Million Ways to Die in the West, with $7.2 million. That accounts for a 57% drop. For a comedy, that is really, really terrible. So unfortunately, A Million Ways to Die in the West isn't even going to reach 50 million here in the US box office. That's amazing, seeing as Ted opened to 54 million in its first weekend when it was released. So, looks like people aren't so interested in seeing Seth MacFarlane in front of the screen. In other news, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, is now #1 at the domestic box office. This weekend, actually, it took a little longer than I expected. It did overtake the Lego movie for that top spot. So congratulations to Marvel, Captain America, and all you fans out there. So that wraps up our coverage for this weekend's box office numbers. Looking ahead to next weekend, we get to revisit two beloved worlds as we see sequels taking over once again at our box office. First, will Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill jump to the top of the box office with 22 Jump Street? Or will Hiccup and Pals soar with high box office opening numbers as How to Train Your Dragon 2 goes into wide release? Thank you all for watching as we broke down this weekend's box office. I love you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.